are such an asshole.
All right, got a question that kind of flummoxes me. Hey, Cappy, repeat customer here, 19, soon to be 20 in the next few months. You might not remember this request, but I quit my seasonal Christmas lighting job before the season was over back in November. I think I got out at the right time because my coworkers were left without a job for at least 3 weeks because of bad weather. I'm still working at a fast food place, and it's going on 6 months pretty soon. It has not been too bad as I've gotten used to the work culture. My work schedule is flexible, and I'm able to set my own hours, so that's good. These perks are great and all, but it's not a forever job. I'm plotting an escape plan and saving. I'm planning on working somewhere more simple, like a golf club or a place called you're planning to work in quarries. I don't want to mention where because that'll give out where you are. You want to work in the quarries. All right. I'm also thinking of gaining a trade skill. There's a local pipe fitters union near me called the local such and such. And I could easily start learning this trade. Should I take this leap of a trade this early in life? Next year, when I'm 21, I want to get a big boy job, maybe working at a casino or a bartender. The casino because I like the idea of dressing up in fancy clothes to work every day. Bartending because my friends over 21 make 100 to 500 in tips every night. That's nothing to scoff at it. Sure. Anyway, let me know your rate. Like this to be a video response. All right, look. There's nothing wrong with every job you've just listed. Okay, you got to start somewhere. You work in your fast food and all this. But here, the problem I got, I won't lie to you. The problem I got is you wrote clearly. You use paragraphs. And, not to say that the paragraph test is the ultimate arbiter of your IQ, but you're not dumb. You're not mentally impaired. But then you list all these jobs. It's like, dude, really? That's all you want to become? I'm not even talking like the propaganda where like your job is your value, but I mean, and there's nothing wrong with bartending. You are right about that. Some people can make good money, but you're thinking about you're coming up on 20. You're working a seasonal gig that's only due to Christmas. It wasn't reliable. You're working fast food. You got no plan, and about the only thing here that would pay you a lot more or be something that could afford you not the world's greatest life, but certainly a life if you didn't get anyone pregnant, a life of ease and relative luxury. I mean, no Ferraris, but you're not going to starve or anything like that. And here you are like, my dream is to work at the casino to dress up. Dude, ask anyone working at a casino. You like dressing up? I'm like, no, I hate it. Oh, it might be fun the first day or two, but you hate it. And this is one thing I don't get about young poor people. Like, does no one show you a better option? I know the reason young poor people are poor because your parents screwed up. There's no doubt about that. Your parents screwed up. They had more kids than they could afford. And maybe you look at your parents, you're like, oh, what do I do? Or you're in a poor neighborhood and you look at the other kids, what are you going to do? Like, there was a Family Guy episode where Brian was a substitute teacher in like a really bad school. And it's like, he's trying to get him to think bigger. And like, well, I'm going to be the best drug dealer ever. I'm going to clean the floors and mop. He's like, no, you're missing out. My point here is like, you should not want to be a drug dealer. You should want to aim a little bit higher. And after a while, he just throws it to tell you, okay, yeah, become the best janitor you possibly want. And the other thing, just think it through here, right? What I never understood, and maybe they are migrant labor and that's all they want to do, or maybe that's all they can do. I never understood people come here as immigrants, particularly from Mexico, and then they go work in the fields. I understand the economics. Like, well, they make enough there, they could send money back. I'm aware of the repatriation. They're supporting a family back home. I get that, but you come to the land of the free, home of the brave. Well, it used to be anyway. And you're going to pick fruit. Got it. There's fruit to be picked. I understand. It has to be picked. I got it. But don't you want something more? If you were truly impoverished in Mexico and you're sending the money back, right, then presumably it's to go back home and spend time with your family. You make enough money here, you can live pretty okay back in Mexico. I understand that, but if you're going to stay, I've never understood, like, is this it? This is what you want? Your parents, grandparents, whatever, came out of a bad country or not as a successful country to this country, and then you're like, oh, maybe I can work at fast food. What? Hey, no. Like that should be to get you started, just to make ends meet. But you're in high school, you build up a little bit of cash, a little bit of gas money, so you could take your girl out maybe to prom in a couple months. And it's one thing if you're too dumb to do anything else. All right, I understand that. But the way you wrote in this, no, man, you're well spoken. You use paragraphs. It's clear. I think you're very much underselling yourself with all these jobs. The only one I'd recommend, yeah, go become a pipe fitter. That's a good move. Then there's another one, bartending. There's nothing wrong with that. I guess you go work at the casino. I don't think you can make that much because the dealers, you might get a tip. I'd be a bartender before I become a casino dealer or whatever job you work at the casino. But you need a profession. You need to become a skilled tradesman at something or other. And, that could range anything from heart surgeon to accountant to pipe fitter to mechanic. And what I'm saying is like aim your sights up a little bit, man. Next year when I'm 21, to get a big boy job, maybe work at a casino or bartender. Why can't you now? Maybe you can't serve drinks. Maybe there's a law against that. But right now, you could go join the union. You could make more money, I think, driving Uber or roadie. That's what the tornado chasing kid talks about. Roadie. He does roadie. Everyone starts there, but man, by the time you're 25, you should have a skill or something and not be like, "Ooh, I got a 50-cent raise at the casino." It's like, no way, man. And so I don't know why poor young people who are able of more and capable of more, you all don't aim higher. I don't know, like, oh, maybe I'll just get pregnant like my mom did from 3 different fathers, and I have all these half siblings. Then I'll have these half sibling children. It's like, well, it's over then. But yeah, out of all this, yeah, work these jobs to get by. Bartending and Evelyn, I think that pay the best. That'll allow you to go to school during the daytime, get your trade, bartend at night, and then you join the union or you go work out on your own. And then by the time you're 25, you're not looking at, ooh, I get a free flexible schedule and I made $12 an hour. Like, no, go do something else. And yeah, working at the quarries, that just sounds like hard physical labor and not like it's not going to, use these jobs to provide you food, clothing, and shelter until you get training in something else. And then, I don't know, with the quarries, you need pipe fitters. There's got to be some hydraulics or something they use down there. But, especially, but if you're young in general, but especially if you're poor, that don't mean you're stupid. It just means your parents were stupid. They have more kids than they can afford. Economics 101. Here are my feelings. Shut up. I'm helping you. You don't have to have the life of your parents. You can, just because you're poor doesn't mean you're stupid. And chances are you're not, because school is dreadfully boring. Why don't you go and aim higher? And man, today they got things that we didn't have. Like you could do call center work from home, so you don't have to go to an office. You got an okay car, you could do like Uber Eats, roadie, or whatever. Nothing wrong with bartending. God almighty, they're happy to have waiters and wait staff just show up. You can actually make not a fancy living wage, but you can live off of it. And then come up with something better. You got nothing else going on. Go become an electrician. Go become an accountant. Something. I'm not saying you got to become a heart surgeon. It takes too much damn time. But something. Don't just like, oh, I picked the fruit. Well, he picked fruit all of his life. Well, he lived in California. He didn't move back home to Ecuador. No, he lived in California. Like, that must suck. There you go. All right. Any super chats? Luis Sanchez, $5. Where's a good place for HVAC tech to move to in Nevada or Arizona, close to Las Vegas? Well, there's not. When you're in that area of those states, there isn't a lot of towns. Okay, here's Nevada. There's Reno, and there's Las Vegas. That's it. Now there's some other towns like Ely and Mesquite. I think that might even be Arizona. But it's all desert. There's not a lot out there. There's other towns, Pahrump, Boulder City. That's kind of near Vegas. Yeah, you just go to where the people are. Arizona, the closest town to Vegas or Nevada would probably be Kingman, Arizona, that's sizable. But honestly, I'd move to Nevada. I go to Las Vegas, Nevada, because there's so many people from California moving out there. There's such a housing boom, and there's just not enough people to go around. I mean, you got to think, what's his name? Gavin Newsom and all the Democrats that poop in the streets. They are sending all their workers and productive people to Nevada, and everyone's going to Vegas. I would at least anchor there because Vegas is a cool place. You'll have at least a good year of experiences like, oh, I tried this, I did that. There's food, there's plenty of stuff. You'll do the strip, you'll get bored with it. But I'd start there. And Nevada has no state income taxes, whereas Arizona does, albeit it's not that much. But you're not filing a state income return like you're doing now. And I'm not against Arizona. It's just I'd start in Vegas. I think every young man and young woman should spend some time in Vegas, not for the gambling and the hues, just to see what a quasi-functional growing economy looks like, what it's like to have a good economy. And they just lifted all their bans. So I'd strongly recommend that. That's it. Oh, wait. Aubrey on fire, $7 Canadian. Which one would you get first, CPA or electrician? I'd probably get, I get the CPA, and I would not get an electrician certificate. What I would do is teach myself electricity or go take classes on it and just do the wiring for my house. And then hobbying, like doing solar panels. That's what I would do. The CPA, because you can work anywhere and do that. And the government's never getting rid of taxes. I just hung out with my tax accountant today. Guess what we did? We did taxes. Guess what I'm paying them? A lot of freaking money. So that's like, you can rely on that. You can rely on taxes. There you go. That's it. All right. See you guys.